Hi. Welcome back to #Estoiles of Liberty, Angelo-American Literature at Bird Mountain Optional University. In this session we cover our second Estoile of Liberty, where we discuss the fundamental orders of Connecticut. Won't you come along with us?
Second #Estoile of Liberty 2. The Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. Thomas Hooker inspired January 14, 1639. Founders of the southernmost New England colony and future state of Connecticut were from the Bay Colony of Massachusetts. Followers of a Congregational minister and the first of Cambridges, Thomas Hooker, a dissenting Puritan leader, was known as the Father of Connecticut, but he wasn't the only. Originally, Newtown, Hartford, Deer Crossing, in 1637 was populated by 130 steers and 100 Puritans from Cambridge who, inflating native wampum currency ending Pequot hegemony, settling in Hartford, formed colonies elsewhere, notably in Saybrook and New Haven. The seal of the Saybrook Colony to Connecticut was used as proof of sovereignty in general courts and assemblies. When Colonel Fenwick brought the seal with him in 1639, it was recast in 1711 with the original 15 grapevines replaced by but 3 representing Saybrook, New Haven, and Hartford as Connecticut Colony. The then new oval-shaped seal, whose lower ribbon read, Oui Transtulit Sustinet, as a motto, "He who transplanted continues to sustain." Then new surrounding the bezel was 2 in Latin, SIGILLVM COLONIÆ CONNECTICENSIS, or Seal of the Colony of Connecticut. In 1784, in clear revolutionary victory and British defeat, the bezel was changed from that before to SIGILLUM REIPUBLICÆ CONNECTICUTENSIS, Seal of the Republic of Connecticut. Thus, its autonomy precedes government. Considered the Constitution state, for having drafted its fundamental orders in 1639, Connecticut was assigned royal charter in 1662, transformed into a republic by 1784 before statehood on January 9 of 1788.
Connecting Massachusetts, English, with New Amsterdam's Long Island, Dutch, was the Connecticut River, which vertically bisected the land now known as Connecticut. The Saybrook Colony, at the mouth of the Connecticut River, was commissioned to the appointed Governor John Winthrop Jr. to honor Lords Say and Saul and Lord Brooke in 1635. Say, an English noble from Oxfordshire, and Brooke, a radical Puritan parliamentarian from Lincolnshire, but the Pequot War left government in shambles until its seal and sovereignty were absorbed by Connecticut Colony. New Haven, through John Davenport's leadership of 500 Puritans, to what would be one of the first planned city in America of 9 square plan grids from Quinnipiac land acquired for protection from Pequots. Hopkins School formed there in 1660, and merging with Connecticut Colony in 1664, capitals would alternate from 1701 to 1873. The Collegiate School in Saybrook moved to New Haven in 1718 to become Yale University. First formal government by a body in Connecticut, also called the First Constitution, cornerstone of government.
The year 1662 saw a royal charter granted to Connecticut colonies by King Charles II, granting governmental authority to what had already been established. The English acquired New Amsterdam from the Dutch in 1664, and consequently the growing densely populated Long Island, where trade between Dutch and English settlers was imminent. Viewing maps while understanding population growth and sprawl without English chartering Connecticut, the Dutch, through its settlers and trade relations, may have Puritans. The towns of Windsor, Wethersfield, and Hartford were settled by Massachusetts Bay Puritans, not Pilgrims. A brief recap on their differences reminds us that Pilgrims sought autonomy for solitude to worship the Lord, while Puritans liked colonels' armies, state prerogatives. Puritans spread good news to those thought savage. Pilgrims were separatists fleeing religious persecution, preferring to grow in magnitude rather than spatially, as had Puritans to Connecticut. As the only thing worse than government is a lack of government, settlers in Connecticut from Massachusetts arrived before Thomas Hooker, but he unified sentiments of settlers in Connecticut's wilderness under his ministry. So, the relationship between the strategically placed towns in peace was due a tax to maintain the safety, wherewith the benefit of 3 to 15 main markets was only economically positive. The relationship documented by the Saybrook, Hartford, New Haven network was saw best under some type of agreement than not, where supporting settlers with similar language, history, and culture behind the rich civilized man structured society innately. In 1662 the royal charter simply said the king allowed the colony to function, but in the autonomy of the wilderness many men died battling as nature and man collided, never having ever any followed any but themselves. America was a new world where one was not just free but trained to plow, plant and march. The growth of the nation was filled with men looking for providence of their own instead of remaining at home. People were marrying, being fruitful and multiplying.
After the Revolution, the Treaty of Paris, and before statehood in 1784, the Sigillum Republicae on Connecticut's seal was claimed, where, if whether admitted or not, it would be independent. This union is most significant because it predates its royal charter, was incorporated with the other 12 colonies in the United States, and may so indefinitely to perpetuity. The Latin motto on Connecticut's seal, Oui Transtulit Sustinet, translated in English to, "He who transplanted continues to sustain," ensures the prosperity of posterity following its fundamental orders. If whether or not king or country triumphed in the Revolutionary War, Connecticut in theory would remain under the Sigillum Republicae Connecticutensis, seal of the Republic of Connecticut, and the writ of its fundamental orders. Autonomy is natural in the absence of authority, while written constitutions define men with common convictions and assign the body a name, which in this case was Connecticut.
The Constitution State drafted its fundamental orders in 1639, the Union of Hartford, Saybrook, and New Haven was granted royal charter in 1662 and would from 1784 transform into a republic. achieving statehood on January 9 of 1788. Whether or not the Republic needed to merge into the United Colonies is debated, as independence was so prior to royal charter or the early United Colonies in their early statehood and new nation.
That's all the information we have for you at this time. And, no, this wasn't the only constitution or agreement at that time, and pilgrims weren't settlers, they worked the land while settlers claimed we transtulit as he who transplanted. Next session concerning our third estoil of liberty we delve into the Massachusetts body of liberties. We can wait to see you there. Thank you for your time and consideration.